Hi, Christine here with a weekly update on my health journey and what I accomplished this week and what I didn't accomplish. This will be short and sweet. I lost the weight that I gained last week, so yay! I started the week at 203.6 and I ended it at 202. So lost the 1.6 pounds that I was up last week. So very happy about that. As far as diet, I was okay. I wasn't great. But I didn't really mess up royally like I had been doing. I did not keep my food log for most of the week. I think I was just kind of feeling a little bit burned out on all the regimen, and so I slacked off a little bit, but didn't go off the rails as far as diet, just kind of took a break on all of the logging of everything I was eating, because I noticed last week it did not do me any good. Even though I put down absolutely everything that I had eaten, it did not stop me. So apparently that's not the deterrent. Oh, one thing that I did do right this week was spending more time in the mornings with my Bible and in prayer. And I tell you, that must have been what happened. That is what worked this week. Because I can't put my finger on anything else other than I wasn't tempted this week like the previous week. And again, I really think it's connected to the time I spent in the Word. So good news on that front. And that is what helped me this week. I know, without a doubt. As far as exercise, I have good news. We joined a gym a few days ago, and so I will be going to the gym mostly for the exercise bike to start. I am not ready to take on anything serious there. My first day was, I guess, 3 days ago, and just honest truth, I barely survived 10 minutes on the recumbent bicycle on level 1. Yeah, that was an eye-opener. I mean, I was thankful that I was able to complete the 10 minutes, because I think after 5 minutes I was ready to quit. The second day I did the same thing, and it was a little bit easier, thankfully, and a little less intimidating too. I think that very first day, you're going in alone. I had never been to there's 2 locations in our city, and I had not been to the one I went to after we joined up at the other one. We joined up at one that's farther from home, so I decided to try out the one that's closer to home, even though it's not as big. And so just walking into a new place that is a gym is a little bit intimidating, and I think that played into my anxiety. But yeah, succeeded in that. And actually, I guess I only went twice. So it must have been Thursday and Friday. I think we joined up on Wednesday afternoon. Anyhow, the second time I worked out with some hand weights as well after I rode the bike. And I thought I did fine. I felt good after leaving. But late Friday night, I got this pain in like my middle back, like I had twisted something. And I did do some side to sides with the weight, and maybe I just extended it too far. But it was weird. It didn't kick in till like after dinner. So I thought it was that I'd eaten too much. And I had like a whole big bowl of watermelon, and sometimes watermelon can give you gas in your stomach. But so I wasn't sure what it was, but it was painful and it was very uncomfortable. I even went to bed early Friday night. I went to bed like at 8:30. I felt horrible. And so after just being in agony for a while, my husband suggested I take some Advil. So maybe something was inflamed. So I did, and sure enough, I did feel better after I took it, after I took a nap and got up later, and I did feel a little better. And then by the next morning, it was better. I could still feel a little twinge, so I didn't work out on Saturday or today, and I will go back tomorrow because I'm pretty much over it now, and so tomorrow I should be fine. And I'll just start off with the bike again. I guess with the condition of my body, I just have to be careful that I don't overdo it. You know, you don't want to get injured because that sets you back further than you were when you started. So, yeah, but we did decide that riding the bike is probably better for me right now than walking, because the walking was irritating my knee, and I got to the point where I'd start walking and like 10 minutes into it, my knee would just, something is loose in there. It almost feels like if there's marbles and one gets out of place. And if it does that, I just feel like a sharp pain, and then I'll be okay if I step really like gingerly, but the slightest misstep and I'll tweak it again, and eventually it just hurts continuously, and that's not good. It's pain. I know I have osteoarthritis in that knee because I was told that decades ago. I took a couple of injections and it got easier, or I guess maybe I wasn't using it as much, and so it was doing fine. But the steady walking lately has aggravated it again. So in order to be able to do my day-to-day chores and shopping and what I need to do, I'm gonna stay off it as far as heavy walking, you know, for exercise. So we thought the bike would be better to strengthen those quads and the other leg muscles that I need to be stronger to support that knee. And hopefully that will help and continue to help me to get lighter, which will also help. So it's all good. We're working through the challenges, and I am thankful to be able to have that resource now to be able to work out on the equipment as I get stronger. Let me go back to my food log. I did log for the last few days, just eating normally. I love boiled eggs, so usually I'll have breakfast around 11:30 and I'll have boiled eggs with avocado and some kind of fruit, mandarin oranges, blueberries. I also love the little mini cucumbers from Sam's Club, so I'll peel those and slice those up and have those ready. And they're called Wild Wonders. It's like 1.5 pounds of little grape-sized tomatoes. Those are really good. So I like to wash all those and have them ready in the fridge too. And then I'll just mix cucumber and tomatoes and have that as a side to whatever I'm eating. Sometimes I'll put olive oil and balsamic vinegar in it and salt and pepper, or I'll put like a teaspoon of mayo with salt and pepper. The mayo goes far, just a little bit. because of the juice of the tomato, but it just gives it a little taste of dressing. So I'll add that. My coffee, I made another skillet meal. Those usually last a couple days. Usually it's a grass-fed ground beef, or I mix it with a pound of sausage, kale, potatoes, or sweet potatoes. In this case, I use Meyer has some really nice, they call them creamer potatoes. They're little round, I think it's called the Potato Company that sells them. They come in a nice bag, and the thing I like about them is they're always in really good shape. For a while there, I was having really bad luck with potatoes, and they would be bad on the inside or go bad really quickly. And these little creamer potatoes they last. And so I'll, get the big 3-pound bag full of them, and I think the last bag was good for a couple weeks. I'll use a little bit at a time, either in skillet meals or roasting them. But they're real easy to prepare too, because you don't have to peel them. So they're white ones and red ones. Sometimes I just get the white ones, sometimes I get the white and the red mixed, and I just slice them in half. And you can roast them that way, or I'll cut them in quarters and put them in the skillet meal with the meat and some kale. And finish it off with some goat cheese. Great flavor. Goat cheese adds a great flavor, and you don't have to use as much salt because the goat cheese is pretty salty. So that's a go-to meal. I also like to add Mrs. Dash, since that is a salt-free seasoning. They also have a spicier Mrs. Dash now. I think it's called garlic Mrs. Dash or something like that. Mrs. Dash with garlic, and it must have cayenne in it or something, because it's got a little bit of a kick. So I can't use too much because we don't like things really spicy, but it does give a nice extra flavor to things. So I started using that. I still eat my nuts, usually walnuts or almonds. And yeah. I think I've had like a Larabar mini the last few days. I've had one. So yeah, other than before I got the backache, I had a headache for like 2 days, and I'm wondering if that was kind of a residual from my bad eating last week, because if I overdo sugar, I notice that I wake up in the morning feeling sluggish, and I will be more prone to have a headache. I hadn't gotten a headache in like over a month, and I know it was because I was really watching my diet. I really think that plays a role. And when I started going off it, I got the headache, and it's a headache that will last me it lasted about 2.5 days. I hate to take anything for it, so that probably makes it worse because I can't get rid of that pain for a while. But it eventually subsides. I drink coffee, and that often helps. So that is the health update. I feel good, and just pressing on, like I say, one day at a time. Doing as much as I can, praising the Lord throughout for every little thing I can do. You can believe I was thanking him for helping me get through those first 10 minutes on the bike. Honestly, I'm so out of shape. It's okay. We're on the right path. So I will leave you with that. I hope you're all doing great and having success on your own efforts towards better health. And I thank you again, those of you who've reached out and sent such encouraging words, and even let me know a little bit about your own journeys and efforts toward better health. and even the tips that you share. I appreciate it all, and I thank you. I thank you for caring enough to comment and to add those words of encouragement, because they mean a lot and I appreciate them. So I will see you next week, hopefully with great news. I know we're not going to do this overnight, but you know, every week is an opportunity for steps forward. Okay, I'm leaving. Good night.